Hey guys, I'm the 50s Kid, and in this video I'm going to review the Alpha One speakers for the E90 BMW from BimmerTech. So this is the complete Alpha One set, and these are the subwoofers. They're the A90 subwoofers. These are A45 mid-range, these are A10 tweeters, and then these are A40 mid-range along with two more tweeters. So this actually goes in the center console, or the center of the dashboard, up by the glass, and then these two go in the back of the car up by the rear glass. These go in the doors along with this. This is the front doors right here. Now, full disclosure, BimmerTech did send me these speakers to review for free on my channel. And yes, that does make me a little bit biased, but you know what? When I do these kinds of things, I check out the product first, and if I don't like it, I just send it back with a polite thank you, but no thanks. I have actually done that before. I've sent back like $1,000 scan tool that was just full of bugs and just wasn't ready for prime time, and I didn't review that tool. I just sent it back. So you can trust if you're seeing me review something, it's a good product. But before we get into that review, I want to break down all the different audio systems that came in the E90 era 3 Series cars. There were basically 3 different levels of audio system available. BMW called them the base system, the hi-fi system, and the top hi-fi system. So the base system actually had 6 speakers. There were 2 subwoofers underneath the front seats. There were 2 regular speakers in the front doors, and then 2 more regular speakers in the rear, on the rear sort of shelf behind the rear seats. That one had no amp in the trunk. Those speakers are all powered directly from the head unit. That was a non-navigation setup, and you could have had either the professional or the business radio with that. This 6-speaker bass system was not very common in North America, but it does exist. It's out there. The hi-fi system was a lot more common. It had 10 speakers with a 6-channel 180-watt amplifier in the trunk. That amplifier had 2 40-watt channels at 2 ohms for the subwoofers, and it had 4 25-watt 2 ohm channels for the regular speakers. This system was characterized by having no center speaker in the dash, and it also does not have the graphic equalizer in the head unit. That's how you can identify if you have this kind of a system. This system you can upgrade to the Alpha One amp if you want to go for something with more than 180 watts. Alpha One's amp actually has, I believe, 720 watts, so you can really pump out a lot of power if you get that amp and you have this particular system. The speaker setup for the hi-fi system is 2 front tweeters in the front doors, 2 mid-ranges in the front doors, 2 subs underneath the front seats, 2 mids on the rear deck, and 2 tweeters in the rear deck as well. And then of course you have that amp in the trunk. That system of course is fully upgradable. All of the speakers are upgradable, as well as the amp if you want to. The top hi-fi system is just what it sounds like. It's the top of the line system that you can get in these cars. It was known by several terms, Logic 7 or Harman Kardon. That system came with a 420 watt 9-channel amp that powered 13 speakers in total. So that amp actually has 2 70-watt channels at 4 ohms for the woofers, the subwoofers underneath the front seats. And then it had 7 40-watt channels at 2 ohms for all the rest of the speakers. So even though the top hi-fi system has all the same speakers as the regular hi-fi system, plus a few more, they actually are not the same speakers. They were different speakers with different outputs. They were made of different materials, so they had different outputs. So the top hi-fi system would have been in the cars that had just the regular business or professional radio, or it would have been in the cars that had the CCC system, which was the navigation system. One easy way to identify if you have the top hi-fi system is if you have a center speaker in your dashboard. The other way is if you have the graphic equalizer in your head unit. If you have either of those 2 things, you're going to have the top hi-fi system. And the top hi-fi system will have speakers in the same places that the hi-fi system does, in addition to the center dashboard, as I mentioned, and then you will also get 2 more mid speakers in the rear doors. And of course, you're going to have that Logic 7 amp in the trunk. So one important thing to note is that if you have the top hi-fi system and you have that Logic 7 amp, you're not going to be able to upgrade to the 720 watt Alpha One amp, because that amp is analog only. It doesn't operate on the fiber optic system. So you're just stuck with that 420 watt amp. But to be honest with you, it works pretty well. That's the one that I have. So you actually have several options when it comes to purchasing an upgraded speaker package from BimmerTech. You can just buy the front speakers if you want to. You can start off with the woofers and the mids and the tweeters for the front doors and see how you like that. And if you feel like you need more, you can buy the rear speakers. And if you feel like you need even more thump out of your subwoofers, you can get that 720 watt amp and add that on. So BimmerTech actually has Alpha One speaker setups available for most late model BMWs. It's not just the 3 Series, they have the 5 Series and 7 Series as well. So I would suggest you search your VIN on their website and it will come up with the recommended setup for your car. And BimmerTech did want me to let you know that the Alpha One amplifier is even easier to customize than their previous amp. It comes preloaded with several tune sets that you can switch yourself using your laptop to adjust the music to your preferences. It also comes with mounting brackets for your exact vehicle, and it remains fully plug and play. And there's one special note that I have for you guys when it comes to purchasing your system, and that has to do with the subwoofer impedance. I want you to make sure that you know exactly what system you have so that you know what subwoofer impedance to order with your system. Turned out when I ordered mine, there was a little mix up on the site. It didn't quite identify my system correctly from my VIN number, and they ended up sending me out the 7 ohm subwoofers instead of the 4 ohm woofers, and my subwoofers basically didn't sound good. So once I got the new ones in and I put those in, everything sounded great. But you guys definitely need to make sure, you need to know whether you have the 4 ohm woofers or the 2 ohm woofers. So I suggest the easiest way to do it is to just look and see if you have that center speaker. And if you do, then you need the 4 ohm woofers. And if you don't, you need the 2 ohm woofers. Now, finally, let's talk about the sound itself. And oh my God, it is amazing. Like, the difference really is quite amazing. The whole system really works together so nicely. The sound is like, it's so much more crisp and clear, you know? It's like, even at the highest volume levels, there's no distortion, there's no breakup of any kind, no crackling. It's just the sound is so clean. And when it comes to the bass, I'll be honest, the bass is it's not like twice as loud or twice as pounding or anything like that. To be honest, I wouldn't even want that because that's just like a little too much. The bass is, the speakers themselves, they look physically like the actual units are a little bit smaller than the stock ones. I was a little bit concerned about that when I was installing them, but they definitely don't sound it. Like they are louder. There's a little bit more there's a little more pounding, I would say, but it's also not the same kind of pounding. It's like more clear, it's more crisp kind of pounding. It's so hard to describe, but overall, the whole system really works together very nicely. I'm extremely happy with the upgrade. If I hadn't been sent the speakers for free to review, I would buy them, to be honest with you. Like, if I had gotten in a friend's car with these, I would have been like, oh yeah, I gotta have those. So definitely worth it. And yeah, I definitely recommend them. They're really nice. Well, that's it for this video, guys. Next week, we will do a full detailed install on this whole system. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more. I'm the 50s Kid. Thanks a lot for watching.